Our class is drawing pictures about ways to take care of other people's things. Would you like to know why? Well, it started one day when we found our playground swings broken. No one could play on them. How could the swings have been broken so badly? The only way we could think of was this. Someone must have been angry and deliberately broken the swings. Broken something that belongs to the whole school. The marking on the walls of our school was almost as bad. Some people seemed to think it was funny to mark up the walls and make them ugly. They forgot how much work it would be to clean the walls. So we have talked in our class about taking care of things that don't belong to us. This is one of the paintings made to show our ideas about taking care of other people's things. Mary Jane painted it. Of course, everyone in our class is painting and drawing pictures. But Mary Jane has worked especially hard. So let's find out what her pictures say. The first picture shows a boy giving something to a man. Do you see? Well, this is the story Mary Jane means to tell. It begins as Kenneth finds a billfold. What should he do? He looks inside to find out whose it is. It's Mr. McPherson's. Kenneth knows who it belongs to. So, what should he do with it? Do you agree with Kenneth that finders should not be keepers? Returning other people's things is important, don't you think? See how glad it makes Mr. McPherson that Kenneth returned the billfold? Have you ever found something and returned it to its owner? Don't you think returning things you find is an important part of taking care of things that belong to others? That's what Mary Jane means in her first picture. Her second picture shows a boy on a bus, and this is what Mary Jane means to tell. Often when we ride on a bus, even our school bus, we are careless. We all like to ride in a good, safe, clean bus, but sometimes some of us forget. Joe is pushing his foot against the seat in front of him and marking it up. He isn't paying any attention. He's thinking about what he and his friend are talking about. He doesn't even see that he has pushed the seat loose. See how much damage carelessness can do? Now Joe sees what has happened, and he's going to try to fix it. There. And luckily, Joe has an extra handkerchief he can use to clean the back of the seat. Doesn't that look better? Don't you think Joe knows it's better to be careful than careless about things that don't belong to us? Yes, it's much better to be careful. That's the story Mary Jane tells in her picture. The third picture shows a girl getting a book from her teacher. It's really the story of something that happened in our class. I had given a book to Irene. When she opened it, she found, oh, look, torn pages, folded pages, marked pages. Why, the book was ruined. Irene brought it right back to me, as she should. I was surprised when I saw it. Of course, the child who did it would have to give our class a new book. But wasn't it too bad the book wasn't cared for? Irene was glad to get a book that had been cared for, for she likes to take care of things that belong to the class and the school. And learning to take care of books that don't belong to us is important to everyone. Don't you think so? That's what Mary Jane's third drawing tells. The last picture is about Mary Jane herself. It shows her borrowing paints from her neighbor, Richard. These are special paints that belong to Richard. He let Mary Jane use them on her special painting, and she takes good care of them. She's careful not to spill them. She puts the covers on tightly so the paints won't dry out. She keeps the brushes and the paints clean. She puts things back neatly, and she returns them as soon as possible. That's the way to take care of things that belong to others, isn't it? I was so pleased with Mary Jane's painting that I asked her to let me show it to the class. After all, her painting shows important things that will make ours a better school. All of us must learn to take care of things that don't belong to us, return things, and be careful of things we use. Yes, Mary Jane's is a special picture. She'll certainly want to take it home and show it to her parents. After school, Mary Jane can't help noticing how clean the walls are. When everyone takes care of things, we do have a better school, don't we? Mary Jane wants to get home quickly to show her painting to her mother. Uh-oh. Be careful of your painting, Mary Jane. Uh-oh. Mary Jane is having trouble with the wind. And look, her painting. It's gone. Yes, it's easy for any of us to forget and become careless. Where could the painting have gone? Too bad. A few minutes later, Richard is coming along the same walk. Why, what's that? It's Mary Jane's painting. Can Richard get it without damaging anything? Well, if he's careful. There. Now, what would Mary Jane's painting be doing here? What should Richard do about it? Mary Jane is home now and wishing she'd been more careful. Then, Mary Jane! It's lucky for Mary Jane that Richard remembered about taking care of other people's things. It isn't easy to learn to be careful, but both Richard and Mary Jane will try hard to learn more and more about taking care of things. Will you? Do you remember what the pictures tell? Do you remember how important it is to return things you find? Do you remember how easy it is to damage things just by being careless? And sometimes you can fix things. Taking care of books is important. Anyone who damages a book should have to replace it. Don't you think so? If we use something that belongs to someone else, don't you think we should keep it clean and neat and return it just as soon as we can? These lessons take practice, but when we do practice them, we are happier, others are happier too, when we take care of other people's things.